Righty. How in the world is everybody doing? Can you hear me? Do you like my cool hat? How's my hat tonight? Do I look, something? Hopefully my hat looks good.
Remitly offers many convenient options to send and receive money sa Pilipinas. Sign up.
We don't need to send no money to anybody. We're poor. What's happening, Joe?
Not a whole lot, Dave.
What's going on in your world?
Not too much. Just trying to get my tablet lined up with everything.
Oh, good. That's good. So or did it finally, rain, or you have rain?
We had some light rain here.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah. Did you like my little video on my new toy for my doggies?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
You need I bought it for a friend's kid, but then I thought, I kind of think the dogs would like it. So who cares about those kids?
Yeah, I'm trying to find my avatar.
I don't even think I have an avatar for StreamYard. I think the Yank is trying to get his phone situated. So, and we had some people drop by earlier and just drop in, and we appreciate them. Timmy and the Adventure, the Ice I Panic, and of course the WOINI host, who is IC, which appreciate IC. Been to her streams. She's doing really good with her live streams. Looks like she definitely stays busy.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, I don't even think I have one, Joe. I'm going to have to get an avatar because I don't think I have one. That's pretty sad, isn't it? Not to have one. But I usually, when I do live streams or go up on people's live streams, I just kind of show up.
Right.
There we go.
I know I do the same thing. Yeah, I know it's unusual for everybody to catch me up in a panel anymore.
But today you have good connection, pretty good connection anyway.
Pretty good.
Mr. Yank is doing something with his phone. I don't know what's up with his phone, Mr. Yank. Maybe it's that VPN situation you had last week. I don't know. What, Daisy? Cool it down. Daisy's trying to figure out what we're talking about. She thinks we're talking about food. I can see it in her eye. What? There you see? Here she goes. She goes into her little tent. See? Telling you.
So you did get it all hooked up for the girls?
Well, I decided not to suspend it from the ceiling. Instead, I just went up and got some dowel rods and kind of, supported it with dowel rods to,
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't stand up on its own because it's designed to be hung. So
right.
I dowel rods and put in it, and it's doing okay. I probably need to get some stiffer ones. Because a lot of times when the girls want to go to bed and lay around, they get in there and they dig around, and I know it's going to knock it over.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Yank, how are you today, sir?
Hello. Beautiful.
Let's see. Let's give some love to some of the people that stopped by early. If you guys don't know these channels, go visit them.
You hear me?
I hear you. How about you? Can you hear you?
Yeah. I'm
Loud and clear, Tony.
Okay.
No, as long as you can hear you.
Well, I just find it odd that I lately have to shut off the VPN so I can get through on the phone.
E.T.
That's all right.
Trevor Freely, good to see you. Thank you for coming by and visiting. As always, you're
Welcome in, everyone.
to join the panel. And I'm just saying thank you all for joining us. So what's been happening today, everybody? What's going on today? What are we talking about today? It's election day.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? Does anybody care about the election?
Nope.
There you go.
I didn't vote.
I vote, but I
Nope.
don't care.
I haven't voted either. I just same old shit. Either way you look at it. So
It is. And the sad thing it is,
you know, I'm that baiting you. Oh, it's important. Yeah, okay. Well, I thought it was important since I was in grade school, but it
well, I don't know.
hasn't worked out that way. If you like the free shit, vote for Democrats.
Yeah, I agree with that. How's my hat tonight? You guys dig my hat? Is my hat cool?
Yeah, where'd you get that from? Who'd you roll for that?
I don't know where I got it from. You always ask me that, and
What do you mean? I don't know. How can you not?
see, you offended me. And my dog went crazy.
Yeah, I got this nice hat, but I don't know where it came from.
I don't, but what you have to realize is,
You've been smoking too much of that medical marijuana. That's your problem.
well, I actually chew it, not smoke it.
Oh, well, anyway.
But I have so many fedoras. This style of hat.
Yeah.
I really don't know where I've got them all. I can't remember.
Nice.
No, I know the ones I got overseas, like in Aruba and some other places
Yeah. You bought it in Aruba. It was made in China.
no, no, one I
You know what I mean? I mean, I went out to California a couple of times, and one time I was down in Fisherman's Wharf and I bought a Harley from a dealer. You know, you can only get these certain T-shirts at the dealer, and the T-shirt was made in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
yeah.
So 25 minutes west of me.
No, I know the feeling. No,
But I got a shirt from Paris from the ex-wife, and it was made in Indonesia.
Well, one thing I'm doing is I'm trying to learn about watches more. I'm a really big fan. I don't like to wear them, but I like to own them. And same thing with clocks. I'm getting into cuckoo. I'm trying to invest into some cuckoo clocks.
Oh no! Wow.
Yeah, and I got some videos coming up about some of that. But
You're cuckoo, man.
But when it comes to watches, I tell this story. I think it was really funny that right after Lorelai and I got married, her sister, who's a school teacher, wanted a really nice Indiglo Timex watch.
Yeah, nice.
Right? So I'm like, I don't care. It was like, I don't know, $100 or something here in the United States. And we put it in a buy-on box, and shipped it over with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what was funny about it was after I purchased it from wherever the hell I purchased it from, I looked at it and guess where it's made?
Switzerland.
The Philippines. So I paid $100 in America for a watch in the Philippines, and I was going to pay more money back to the Philippines.
Timex was the bomb for the regular guy back when I was a kid. Those were long-lasting cheap watches.
And they still are for the most part. I think they're, they got.
I used to like that glow.
Yeah, no, and they're still good watches. I just thought it was funny. I paid $100 or something. I could have just gave her some money to go down and buy in the Philippines.
Yeah, I called the credit card company when I was there the first time to tell them where I was going to be. That I was there. I mean, where I was going to be when I got there, how long and all that.
Yeah.
And the call center was in the Philippines.
I know. I love the call centers in the Philippines because you call them or, we don't know they're in the Philippines until they start speaking. And then what I like to do is say, oh, what part of the Philippines are you from?
Yeah, I'm leery of everything that's with an Indian accent.
Yeah, whenever I hear them speaking, I recognize where they're at out there.
No.
Then I start speaking Tagalog to them. And they get the biggest smile on their face. You can hear it in their voice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to torture them. It's like, yeah. So And I know you're helping with my AT&T bill, but can you tell me what part of the Philippines you live in? Do you live over by Newtown? Because I know there's a lot of call centers over there. They're just gonna,
What, Cebu?
yeah. Either the IT park and Newtown has a bunch of call centers.
Yeah. That I haven't seen him in a long time. Chris. Is his name Chris?
Chris and Cebu. Yeah, he used to just walk around and do live streams.
Oh, he just sits still and doesn't. But he's still on YouTube?
I haven't seen him in a while either, I think Joe.
Huh. I don't know. They bought a condo to save up for. And he took a couple of trips to Polag, twice from or something like that. So
He bought a condo down by Seaside. Laura and I actually looked at those condos years ago.
You know what? He says across from his window, looking out a balcony, it's all grass. It's empty space.
Still
They can't build there. Well, a certain amount of money, they sure as hell will.
Well, in the Philippines, they'll do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
they want.
selling you something and guaranteeing you can't guarantee that.
Oh, they're going to build there. I mean, we spend a lot of time down in that part of Cebu when we're there, and the ocean park. That's where the aquarium is. The Seaside Mall is, where the new bridge is, and it's finally open.
I've never been there yet, but when I get around to doing my permanent resident stuff, I'll go over to that. Well, I watched that older guy. I forget, Rod, Amazing Philippines. I'm gonna go. Well, I'll go up there. I've never been there, so I'll take the ferry boat trip and go to that JRC guy. Let him do the paperwork, but it'll be a nice little trip.
No, the funny thing is, and now I don't know how long it's going to last, but that part of Cebu is actually pretty nice, But that's kind of outside the city. It's kind of where the city's growing. So right now, the condos and the landscaping's nice. It's not as dirty and filthy. It's not as polluted. Well, I won't say polluted, but
I'm going to.
10 years.
Wow, he lost signal again.
Yeah, you did. So did you, Joe. But that's okay. It's probably the storms, the weather. Maybe it's the hat causing you to lose connection. But yeah, that part of Cebu where the Ocean Tower, or what do they call it, Seaside Tower, Ocean Park, it's where the new third bridge lands and comes in. All of that area is still pretty nice, but it's still brand new. So landscaping's good. The sidewalks are good. They do have some old junky boats kind of sunk in the harbor out there, but other than that,
what happened to what's his name?
Harang.
Huh?
Harang, Joe says. He probably dropped or had to get down.
Oh, my signal just dropped. But what I was saying was, me and my wife were looking at a subdivision, and I look and I see this lady that does vlogs from over there. Her husband's a British guy, and once they open them suckers up, man, it looks like one big. There's no association or nothing. Like you got to pay for the garden, the pool, and all that. But it looks like a slum. It looks like a slum now. It's just
yeah.
They don't freshen up the paint.
No, they don't keep up the maintenance very well. I will give you that. Nowhere, and that's part of the problem. Yeah. The Philippines is could be a beautiful place.
You have a guarded, a gated community, and with a rent-a-cop at the front there. That's not much security, and they're right on top of each other. I mean, if you don't play basketball or go swimming, what do you're, I don't know, you got like about 4 foot when you step out the back door there, before the wall. But
No, it's crazy. I mean, I think
They,
Joe would be nice and shout us out. What I was disappointed, and I need to do a video. I got all the video, but I just haven't felt like putting it together. You know, because I don't really want to. I don't like bashing the Philippines. I do like being honest about the Philippines. But when we were land hunting, it was bonkers. Some of the land that somebody tried to sell us, you know, so like half a basketball court. Here, we want to sell you half a basketball court to build into the house. I'm just like,
yeah. Okay.
come on. You know,
I got you. And I can go back to the comments here.
and, and you know, we, maybe it's the, you know, our Western mindset, but I didn't want to live where I had, you know, 5 other houses that I could reach out and touch off of the basketball court.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kept, and I really did get I got really mad in the Philippines with the real estate people. Not only did the property they kept showing us was worse and worse. And if I'm rejecting one, I'm saying, okay, this is not satisfactory, you know, and here's why. Why are you showing me something that is worse? So, but in the end, you know, we got some land bought up up by the beach, so it all worked out, I guess. I think, Mr. Yank, we lose you again. But you got to be really careful if you are going to buy land in the Philippines. You definitely got to make sure it's all legal. Well, one, as a foreigner, you can't, but your spouse can, obviously. A Filipino citizen can buy land. We can, but not land. You can lease land forever and build a house, but you don't own the land. So there's some different things that you can do as a foreigner. But I got the car. I got you on the big screen TV, and I got here. Okay, nice. But it can be tricky to buy land in the Philippines. I would encourage any foreigner in any country going anywhere, be very, very careful when it comes to purchasing land. You're doubling. All right now.
Double.
Yeah, I got 2 of you. Let me remove one of you. Are you there?
Shit. Tell me.
I removed your other one. It's the mystical, magical Mr. Yank. But buying land, plus, you know, unless you're going to use it for your spouse's future, or if you have a biological child's future, then I don't recommend that foreigners buy land. Just rent and enjoy. And then when you're done, you can just walk away. Because one thing I've learned over the years is a lot of foreigners are expats, whether they go to Mexico, Thailand, the Philippines, anywhere, Russia. They don't usually have much assets. They don't have much stuff much baggage, and it's easier to be more like a nomad. So a lot of expats have that nomad mentality, I think, is what it is. So, and that nomad mentality is a good thing if you have it. I don't have it. But that's my 2 cents on that. What do you think, Mr. Yank? I know.
I bought land.
Yeah, I knew that you did.
I wouldn't advise that for anyone who hasn't been there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a different deal than it is here.
Yeah, it's not legally, it's not as cut and dry either.
Yeah, it seems to be a little more complicated there.
It is. I mean, plus being an outsider, this sounds really bad, guys, but luckily for me, my wife is super, super smart
Mm.
when it comes to things. But I know a lot of Filipinas just trust other Filipinas.
Oh yeah.
And so if somebody says, "Oh no, you can buy this land here, just sign this document, good, title's clean, there's nobody who has ancestral rights to it," they go, "Oh, okay." And they never see a deed for the property in their life. But we looked at some stuff and, was presented some legal paperwork. And she was able to quickly go, I don't think this stuff is legit. Sorry. You know.
Well, I'll just have to look at you on the phone because
You don't want to see my giant face on the 55-inch.
no, it's not on there now. Every time I go back to the thing and put it up there, it F's up all the time. I don't know if it's the weather here or what, but we got some cold coming this way. By this weekend, it'll be in the 30s.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. I don't know anybody who lives like this. Does Joe and Jenny? Do they have land over their house?
I'll let Joe answer. I know the answer, but I'll let Joe answer. But yeah, I mean, I think, it's, we bought land and technically I'm on the deed, but I never intend to own it. It's an investment for the wife.
Boy, oh boy. This godforsaken land. I can't wait to get the hell out of here, boy.
Yeah, you don't like none of us like the cold weather,
Dude, I as I get older here, I live 9 months or 10 months to get 2 out of it, 2 or 3.
Right.
This is no way to exist. When I'm in the Philippines and I wake up every morning, and it's like it feels good. Like it takes till 2 in the afternoon to get like that here. Just totally different frame of mind for me.
Yeah, in the city, I tell people that I really believe this. If you're an expat who wants to settle in the Philippines, the best thing you can do, unless your goal, if you have a family and a wife, but if you do have a family and a wife, your best thing to do is to get outside of the city. If you're single and you just want to screw around with the whores and drink, well, go live in the damn city. But if you want family life, it's better to be outside the city.
I wouldn't advise it being out late in a bar around anywhere there for anyone. I mean, where I got my land is it's about 15 minutes away from the edge of the city. It's still part of the city. It's on, but still got that province feel to it.
Right, and that's kind of what I mean. Plus, you get fresher air. You might, in the city, there's so many buildings like Cebu City, Manila, that you don't get good clean air. You don't get that in the morning. Wow, it's nice feeling. You wake up in the morning in the city with all the concrete and go, holy shit.
You know what? This lawyer, I guess that we've got the land. I wasn't over there when she bought it, but that's been a pain in the ass too with the mother-in-law. But this guy sold the land. It was family land. Mm-hmm. So he divided. He had all these lots made up, and it was all not all. I don't know if all of it was sold, but he had a meeting like a year later, and said that people still owed 5,000 peso because he didn't file whatever, And I said, that's on him. And that's what her mom said too. So she gave the guy like 1,000, all these people, when he said that, all these people dug all this go hand over this money right away, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't even, that's too bad, Tough Titty said to Kitty. He made, everything was done and closed. And then he said, I made a mistake. Well, that's on him then.
It is, one piece of property we looked at, they really, we almost bought it and I would have been okay building a house there. But they then, it was one price which was inflated. We found out, but then also it's like, oh, well, now if we really want to buy it, then we got to pay these people back taxes. We got to pay all those other fees and shit. And I said, no, absolutely not. I said, I am not paying other people's past bills to buy.
Listen, that Brit in the Philippines guy, he had a problem. He'd been living in, his deal was he fixed up the property and mom and dad, they could live there rent free.
Yep.
So he was there for how long now? And all of a sudden, her parents weren't paying the land rent.
Yep.
They didn't own the house and the land, just the house.
Yes.
And then they said he had to pay all that back land rent.
Yep.
Bullshit. Yeah, I wouldn't have paid a dime.
Well, he probably did it so that he could stay on it.
Yeah, but they knew that. All that time they didn't say nothing.
Of course they did, because they knew that eventually, they'll just make the American do it.
No, the Westerner, but if I would have been like, I'd have been out of there. Bullshit. You knew what you were doing, and now you're going to tell me 10 years later that I have to pay 40,000 peso or whatever? That's stupid. That's, it's when you move, like you rent a property and you move in and they say, well, the property owner didn't pay the taxes for the last 6 years. You got to pay them.
Yeah.
I got two middle fingers for those guys.
Well, and that's what we did in the Philippines. We kept hearing that. And I'm like, well, I'm not buying the land then. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying somebody else's back bills.
The logic, man, I fail to see it. I've learned to just not ask anything anymore. But, my experience that I had with my ACR card, and do you have yours? You show it. You can only buy it at a immigration office. You can only get it.
Right.
You bring them the photo. It's got that chip in it, like a credit card.
Yep.
And when I left, they said, I showed them my card. They asked for it, and they already know, that where it came from. And the lady asked me, do you have a receipt? I said, for what? For the card. She said, well, you gotta go buy a receipt. And I said, what do you mean buy a receipt?
How the hell do you buy a receipt?
You know that this card's legit because you got it right in front of your face on the computer. What is the logic in having a receipt for? What next thing you're gonna know, they want you to take a video of you standing there and receiving the receipt.
Or she just wanted you to hand her some pesos and say,
No, I said no initially, and then I walked over to where I had to get it, and then all of a sudden I remembered, hey, I put it in my bag, so I had it.
Good.
But I had the correct date. They're looking at it, when I got it, what day I got it, what time I got it, but yet they're gonna bust my balls over a receipt. So why even have a card?
I don't know, man. Welcome.
I can't see the comments. You're gonna have to read them to me if there are any.
All right. Joe says that he lives in Providence, so he jumped back up. So what's up, Joe?
Yeah, Tony, we are in the process right now of buying property in Mindoro. And I did tell Jeannie that we need to have all legal paperwork done on it before we exchange funds.
Yeah, you get all that notarized, all that good stuff. Believe me, you got to ask questions. Over here, it's just given that this is what you do. Over there, you got to keep on it.
Yeah, we're buying two plots of land, one up in the mountain and one down by the ocean.
Ooh. And that's one thing I just remembered. You got to have rights if that land is from the road and there's somebody in between you and that and your land, you got to have access to it.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that there is access, because if not, you're going to have to probably pay for it.
Well, that's part of what we ran into, and I rejected some properties because there was issues with easements. One piece of property they wanted to buy or take the property out after we paid for it as an easement, and I'm like, no, it's not how it works. If I buy this whole piece of property, it's mine. And then another one was there's somebody living behind it, and they wanted a 2-foot easement so they can get in and out of their house. And I'm just like, oh, this ain't gonna work, because down the road, this ain't gonna work. So I didn't go with any of those stupid easements to let people behind my property so they can get to their house.
Well, here I know this here. When I was looking at some houses in a different surrounding cities, and if somebody builds something on your land, or like they lay a driveway in it, and they got 6 feet, if you don't say or do anything about it, that becomes theirs.
That's right. Yeah, they can possess it. That's correct. Well, and part of the problem was, I thought, okay, so I'm going to build a nice house on this plot of land. The people around me and behind me need to use this little bitty easement to get back and forth. But what happens when they start buying cars? Where are they going to park these cars? They can't get them to their house. So they're either going to make me want to give them a bigger easement, or they're going to park all these vehicles and bullshit out on the street in front of my house. So I just didn't think it was a good way to go. Just didn't like the whole easement concept. That's why we went ahead and bought some land in a gated community by the beach up there. And I know it's not the greatest thing. I'd rather have more elbow space for her, but it's a good investment long term for her. I'll probably never see it or live there, but she'll be okay with it.
Yeah, one thing that Jeannie was thinking, and I was thinking, if we got too hot down near the ocean for the nighttime, we'd be going up into the mountains to go to sleep, because it's going to be a lot cooler in the mountains.
That's for sure.
Yeah, spend the day one place and the night the other.
Yeah.
I think the key is in the Philippines and other tropical places, as long as you're somewhere where you can get a breeze, it's not bad. For me, as long as the air is moving, I don't care how hot it is, unless it's above 100. I can actually handle it. I actually like the heat. I just need air movement. Where we were on Mactan Island, we got no air. It was rough. And that's because of the way the buildings were. That's why.
Right.
When we were up in the condo after the typhoon, when we were on the 9th floor on the condo, we got plenty of air, but you had this wind chamber effect coming off of the ocean because our condo faces the water. So we got a lot of nice air and a lot of breeze. But then you got this weird pressure thing going on in the condo out in the hallway and back and forth, and every door would,
My wife had some land in the province there in Abonga from a former boyfriend years ago, but I wouldn't mind living there, but there's nothing there for the kids to do once I get older. So, I'm not gonna put myself before my family.
Yeah.
If it were just me and her, that'd be different, but it's not. So
Yeah.
I'm not selfish about these things. What I do, all I do is for them, not for me.
Mm-hmm. I think the same way, whether my wife recognizes it or not, the things I do actually are for her. So sometimes the people, your wife may not see it the same way either, but our intentions are to better them, whether they realize it or not, I think. And I think
Exactly.
My
for most men,
my I think my wife got this land that she has in Abonga is like a part, only a small section's on level, and the rest of it goes up the hill. So what she's thinking is, and I ain't gonna never do this. She's hoping that let's build one there, and then we'll give that to her mother or some shit. So I ain't giving nothing to nobody because I worked hard for my stuff, and I'm not in the charity business.
say hello to Craig, everybody. Craig, come on up whenever you're ready or you want. And part of my problem with buying land anywhere, and this is the United States also, we have this issue. With my health, I don't want to buy a house on a hillside. One, I can't do stairs very well, and I definitely don't want to have to go up and down a yard to do landscaping or grow tomatoes or anything. So I personally have to have flat land to live on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little tough in the Philippines to find flat land. Well, you couldn't find it in the city because you could, but it was so expensive. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of go out to the hillsides and buy. You can get a lot cheaper land, but then again, it's also like,
Hey, Craig.
Craig's there.
I didn't know Craig was here.
Like I said, he stopped in and said hello to all of us.
Oh, maybe I was in the bathroom.
So I told him to come on when he's ready. Go ahead, Joe.
All I know is the property that we're looking into in the province there in Mindoro. We're going to spend about 6,000 USD just for the land.
Yep, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then we're going to wind up spending another 8 to 10 to build the house.
That's you're not building a cinder block then, are you? I think all total with the paperwork and all of that stuff and the money, it was 6,500 for 545 square meters.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's cheap for them, but not more.
Well, no, that's pretty cheap compared to Cebu.
Yeah, we bought that in 2014 or 15. So
Okay.
so then we had to go through this rigmarole of we bought it through her mother because we were here. And then I was forever asking, because it takes a couple of years to get paperwork to you. So I'm asking her, hey, when's your mom going to go there? When's your mom going to go there? Nobody say nothing, And then all of a sudden, remember, we could have sent you the paperwork, but you didn't want to do that. Well, okay, that was then, and now it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, Mom, her sister says, well, Mama's been sick. I said, 5 years?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I said, let me tell you about sick. I worked with a concussion ever since I fell and hit my head. I didn't miss a day of work. And so don't anybody tell me about you ain't feeling good. Because I can tell you what not feeling good is. When you're not right anymore.
Well, a lot of it is, I hate to say this, but a lot of it is a little bit of laziness. I don't need to go do that right now, so I won't do it. I'll just
that's I hope you forget about it.
Right.
Because she kept asking her mother, and her mother said, oh, don't worry about that. That's not what I asked you to ask her. I asked you to get this done. And all you're getting is the runaround. Then I see these papers. Okay, it's from a lawyer and all that, but he don't sign right where it says lawyer. He signs above that. So when I get there, before I put a block or raise the lot or anything, I'm going to make sure this is legal because their whole way of doing stuff different than ours. The timing, all of that, So it's a lot more involved. I don't know how other to explain it, but I'm the wrong guy to think that if I build a house and I don't ask questions, and then later on, well, that land is legally somebody else's when I paid for it.
That's it.
That ain't going over, man. And I ain't walking away. Somebody's gonna answer for something. I'll guarantee. I promise you that.
Out from an individual and stuff because, we looked at so many different properties and we're told so many different stories.
Yeah, you know what? It a lot. There are only a very few where you'll look at the lot and it'll say that it's all. What is that word they use over there? Clear title.
Clear title.
Clear title. Okay. Well, that's where you get a Philippine lawyers like who knows, but they'll get all they can out of you too. But the thing is, you're gonna know. You're gonna have to pay for that education. And the knowledge you're gaining, but then you're gonna know. You're gonna have a great peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a carpenter over there that's willing to work for free.
Ooh.
I just got to buy all the material.
Oh wow! You know what? This dude he was building my mother-in-law bought these baby chicks, so to put them out in the back, this carpenter put together this nice little whatever you call it to house the chickens, and because her mom would raise them and then eat them, and the guy gets 500 pesos a day, and he worked a day, and that's what she gave him. But he worked his ass off, and he did a great job.
Yeah, my carpenter that I have out there is my Jeannie's uncle.
Okay.
So family.
Yeah, but always, man, always ask. I never mean for them. Me asking them irritated them. Because we just don't do things here. We don't give somebody $6,000 for nothing,
Right.
And over here, you got consequences for screwing somebody, So how we process it? She kept trying to tell me, oh, it takes 5 years to get. It may take 5 years to get a deed because the person that originally bought it, they're changing paperwork, and when it's already been done for one individual, now you're transferring it. So I after years of hearing all these excuses, I Googled it. I looked it up. 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, no, it's BS.
So you're telling from what I was being told, there was a misunderstanding there. They meant by the 5 years that something about getting the actual deed changed of the paper, not the process of doing it. It just sounds so fantastic to me. It's hard to believe it, But my questions, because we don't do it like that, were being interpreted in a negative way. And anybody that puts $6,500 into something, wants assurances, is going to ask questions. How is this done? So.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I asked 500 million. I got really irritated, I tell you, because all we did was get dragged around the island looking at pieces of shit of land.
Hey.
And I would ask 5 million thousands of questions, and I know it irritated everybody, but.
Well, I explained myself, and if me asking questions irritates them, then somebody's got something to hide. When people are screwing people over, or in any case, any way, they always hate. They get real defensive when they get found out.
Let's say hello to Miss Hart Gasper. welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming by.
So, Joe, as you go through the process, and it ain't nothing personal to them, but you want to know how it goes and how it works.
Right. Well, with me, Tony, I'm going blind, so I'm putting all my trust in my wife and her doing all the paperwork.
Yikes! How long you been married? A while then?
We've been together for over 8 years.
Oh yeah, me too. Same here.
But we'll start buying after I get her here on her education.
Oh,
Hello. Sorry.
you're still in America?
I'm still in America.
Okay.
I'm in Missouri State.
Oh, Missouri. Okay. Up in Wisconsin. Yeah.
So it can be quite tricky and complicated, and it just felt like such of a scam. Everything we looked at was like a hustle.
You're gonna pay for information. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. So you do it. You know, that is nothing against anybody, but everybody's looking for, to make a buck over it.
I'm really, really, really happy to pay for information and knowledge, because that's what people used to pay me for, was my knowledge. But I just wanted to be accurate and correct.
Yes.
I don't want to get BS from 20,000 people.
When I ask questions, they're interpreting that as though I'm saying they're crooked. I'm not saying that. I'm asking questions like anybody else would here. I don't know about there, but
I'm saying I don't believe you.
There are things I want to know.
Kamataka Kaibigan Heart.
Yeah, she says hello to you, Jay.
Who?
Miss Hart Gaspar.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
Says hello to us, and especially to Jay. She must be better than us, but that's okay.
Miss Hart, you over there in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia?
You're welcome to join the live stream if you like. The link is there.
She lives, she's in, I think she's in a room. She's got to keep her voice down.
Yeah, I just like to tell everybody they're always welcome. We are an open, welcomed venue. So, we let you in. I mean, come on, I mean, you, Joe.
Well, I'm surprised anybody lets me in.
Yeah, me too. Trust me. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just want the information, and I want it to be correct and accurate, and I want it in a timely manner, and I don't want a bunch of fluff and puff to go with it.
You can't. What would give you a headache is you're going to ask those questions. You want to know how that is over there. Your mistake would be asking somebody here how it works and then trying to compare it.
That's correct.
It's almost like they run paperwork by Pony Express.
Yeah.
They love triplicate microfiche. I don't even know if that even exists over there.
Yeah, Tony, it's almost like comparing peaches to oranges.
Yeah, man.
I like both.
So
I like both. Peaches.
I when I was asking the question, I was asking going through that those years since I got it. I worked at a job where I had to deal with idiot people and stupid shit all the time, and the last thing I needed was some more resistance. So.
Craig says he's on his lunch break. He's back to work now. He can catch us later. Craig, I hope we all hope everything's going well.
Yeah.
This week compared to last week. So hang in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to have to get going myself because my tablet is about dead.
All right, man. Well, hang in there, and we appreciate you. Do your thing.
All right, Joe.
No problem.
Right.
You guys be safe and be careful for sure.
All right, we will.
You too, man. Take care. Good night.
So yeah, I found it quite irritating. and and I love new knowledge, man. I'm one of these people that I want to. It's like, I'm bored, so I'm old, I'm retired, I have nothing better to
You
do.
know,
So I'm studying about watches and clocks and seeing if I can become an expert somewhat in the field of old cuckoo clocks,
well,
grandfather clocks, and
the problem with trying to get to understanding also is that you may be asking somebody that's not wise or educated in the ways or knowledge of deeds and land surveys and all that stuff. Like our land, they mark it with these concrete posts. So before you go and build, you got to bring that guy back to make sure that people haven't moved them.
well, and part of it is, as we all have talked about, one
And
of
that's
the lovely things about the Philippines is, that whole, what do they call the it's kind of the word for saving face or shame.
oh, I forget.
How they don't want, they will sit there and go down a rabbit hole versus
Yeah.
saying, I don't know the answer. They'll just kind of make it up and just keep going. Oh no, you go over here, you turn here, and you do this.
Yeah, that could have been
That's
you.
the way it works.
They showed us in school once. They had 10 people and they started the story off, and by the time that thing came back, it was all different. So that might have been something that somebody heard. Somebody could have heard what they heard 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that information may have changed, or maybe they didn't even have it correct in the first place. But all I ask for that's being misunderstood is understanding what is what and why it is done the way it is done. That's
agree.
all. But when people start to get defensive off the bat,
Then they're wrong. That's
then there's some either I don't know how they're sensing, uh, you know. But anyway, every step of the way, just don't bank on one person saying something to you. You gotta know a little bit about something, because then anybody can do anything they want to you. Then if you don't know anything,
well,
you
you
may.
also gotta be
I'm
very-
saying you gotta learn it like a architect or a land surveyor, but just have a little bit of insight, a little bit, so you know what they're talking about.
Well, you also got to worry about, that whole concept. A little bit of knowledge can be dangerous.
Well,
Somebody who thinks they know a little something and now they're an expert in it, and so they go around spouting off like they're an expert, but they're really not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that happens a lot. A lot of people see something on YouTube, or TV, and go, "Oh, well, that must be the whole story," and not realizing there's a whole lot more to it than just what they saw or heard.
Yeah. Somebody defending somebody for something they don't even know what the hell they're thinking in the first place.
Right.
So I being new to all of that, I'd always keep an ear open. Okay. So I started after not getting answers I understood, I started looking into it myself. And
Well,
then I found out that this process that somebody's saying at 5 years is not actually that. It's 2 to 3 months to get that put in your name. Now receiving that deed is a different deal.
that's right.
So that's what it was. And I'm not even 100% at it, 100% for sure until I get back, and then I go, if I have to pay the guy $40 to answer my question, then that's what it is.
Right.
It's not money spent unwisely. It's money spent wisely that helps me understand the process.
No, I agree with that. It's okay to pay for knowledge as long as it's good, And we, in the education field talked about, knowledge is power, and if you knowledge, then you can have power over it.
You would have to be a total ditz to just say okay. You gotta know. I'm not I wouldn't hand any stranger on the street $6,500.
No, no, no. Now look, I'm gonna have a video coming out soon that you might think I'm an idiot. So we got to be careful about that ditch thing.
Is that what it's called?
Well, I'm not. I don't know. I don't have a title for it yet.
But
I started working on it. And I bought something sight unseen, and I'm hoping I didn't get ripped off. So I'm going to do a little video and be coming out soon. I just got to do some more research on the item I bought to find out if I got ripped off or, so far it looks okay, but I got, and I'm doing this multiple times. I bought multiple things through an auction site, sight unseen, and I'm just hoping like hell I'm not a total fool for some of the things that I have purchased, and I've intended to resell one or two of them. So it's kind of like a gamble. I'm buying it sight unseen, and hopefully when it gets here, it truly is what it is. And then truly, when I do my research, I can actually double my money or make a little money off of it. So, I may be having egg on my face quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. So,
yeah, I just I try to put this together. I keep dropping here, man, for some reason.
yeah. But so that's what I'm doing. That's one of the fun things I'm doing is since I'm bored, is I'm spending money on shit I don't need. So,
Yeah. Yeah, to have the fun, it's addictive buying shit online. I ain't kidding you. I could be online on Amazon all day long.
well, let me turn you on to a website, an auction website. It's the goodwill.com, Goodwill stores.
Uh-huh.
You actually have an online auction, and like eBay, but it's simpler. And they put all kinds of stuff that have been donated, obviously, up there. And my brother turned me on to it, and I was telling Joe the other day, man, this is something I could become a drug addict on this freaking auction shit. So I'm having to pace myself. No more for the next 2 weeks. I bought 3 items, I think, or 4, and now I have to suspend my behavior for a while.
I did that with on eBay a long time ago when I was collecting Starbucks, those nice coffee mugs with the cities, of all over the world.
Yeah.
And I had quite a few of them, and one of them I had to pay pretty much almost 3 times what the original price was.
Yeah.
But it meant it was important to me to have it.
Right.
So I have every place that I've been to in the world, So I have a hard time. I had a hard time looking up where exactly do you get something like that, and I never really had a clear answer as to where. But they're beautiful. I shipped them over there I think in one of the first boxes I sent.
Okay.
And for a couple of years now, all I can hope for is that I wrapped them up pretty good in there, cushioned by clothes, and I can only hope that somebody didn't snatch them or,
Yeah.
they have no value to anybody else, but they're cool. They look like they hold a whole pint. I don't know.
Yeah. Ken Unger is in the house. He says hello to me and you, and then he says hello to Joe. Ken, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing up in your part of the world?
How's Felix?
How's the wife doing over there? She doing okay, I hope?
Yeah, they had a tropical. Well, it wasn't a typhoon. They called it a tropical depression, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Hang on a second. So you're saying that you heard that Mrs. Hart Gasper is getting married?
I didn't know.
Wow.
No, I didn't. When was this?
I don't know, but if she is, that's congratulations.
Yes, I wonder we haven't seen her in a while, huh?
Yeah, maybe she. Yeah.
Well, who's the guy?
Huh?
Who's the guy?
I don't know. Maybe that's what he's asking. Is he heard that she was getting married, and maybe yeah, if she's still out there, maybe she can let us know who her new man is.
So does that mean no more OFW work? Are you in Riyadh anyway? Because I get some views from somebody over there, or a few people anyway.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Well, Ken says his wife Marina's doing good. They've had a lot of rain lately. Yeah, I got you wrong, but that's what I heard. So he just heard that she was getting married. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, I hope she's getting married. I guess I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I haven't.
Somebody would be happy. So if she's out there in the world listening to us, so but that's great. I know. Who else? Oh, I got a friend that's getting ready to get married. That's what it was. Oh, all right. I knew like there might be somebody else out there getting married. I got married. I don't know if I ever told you guys that, but I got married. So, yeah. So,
A long time ago.
but that's what I've been doing. I've been playing and trying to learn about watches and clocks, cuckoo clocks. I love clocks. I've been fascinated with them since I was a little kid. And I want a really good quality old German made Black Forest one really bad.
Hey, you know what I like? What I like is what I want to have one, but here's what I'd like to have. When I was a kid, I noticed on some people's bars. Hey, John. I noticed on some people's bars they had this little, like a bird with a. I don't know if you had a penguin or you would tip. You get them. You get them like swinging on a pendulum.
Yeah, I know what those are. Yeah.
And his nose would go into the drink or something.
It is with fluid motion. I used to have one of those in my office at the college. I had one.
These were made out of wood, though.
Oh, mine was made out of glass with liquid in it.
No, this was a wooden one, and if I remember it, I could be wrong. This bird had a beak on it. It for some reason I'm thinking that it was a penguin with a top hat. And and you would touch it, and it would bob back and forth, and the nose would tip in the drink. So I don't know whether that was if the nose doesn't hit any alcohol anymore, you need another one or what, or that was just some kind of gimmick or novelty or whatever.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm gonna study on that. I like to learn new things. So, but yeah, the one I had back at the office was the one that had liquid in it.
No, this is way back, man. When I was a kid, I'm 61, so that was late 60s, maybe something like that. I didn't. Well, I was too young to. Even if I would have heard the explanation. That's not something you retain throughout your life, maybe.
Right. Yeah, mine. Yeah, I found mine on the internet. I might have to buy another one now that you say that. So I'm spending money on shit I don't need.
I don't know what they're called, man. It always puzzled me.
Well, I just pulled them up on the internet here, and they got the glass ones that. And it's called a drinking bird learning toy.
Maybe that's what it is. Is it wood?
Well, no, this one's glass, like I said, but it's holding a little bowl, a little cup, and it rocks back and forth for some reason. I'm going to see drinking bird. A lot of these I'm looking at are really cheap. They're just kind of like toys.
See if there's an answer to a drinking bird. 1970s or 60s or whatever.
Let me change to wood.
See if that pops up.
Wood, rocking bird, 1970s. I mean, they got a whole bunch of rocking birds.
It's also known as.
But I don't see any that drinks into something like it does. So you're saying it already had a cup with it, and it would just...
No, it was like on this little that little wooden base, I believe, or and that you would, it was weighted just like a pendulum where you get it going and it would just keep, like, maybe it was drinking a drink, you know, maybe it was some kind of a funny bar thing or something. I don't really know. I was kind of young when it came out. Invented 1945. Wow.
You found it?
No, James Robinson said
Oh, James.
1945, much earlier than 1920.
Thank you, James. We appreciate that, man.
Insist, yeah. It's,
Absolutely.
so you know what I'm talking about, James. Then
I'm going to Google it and see.
so that's called the drinking bird, huh? Also known as a what? Pick up my book. Coming from today, Philippines mythology.
I need a pen.
Okay. Oh, aswag. Is that dogs? Aswag? That's
Yeah, that's a dog.
what do you
Asshole.
call the Askel? Baskel or Askel? See, John, I think your wife is Tagalog, right? Speaks Tagalog, maybe. Or Cebuano?
I had to pick up my book. It came in today. Philippine. Oh, mythology. Wow. Wow.
Your what came in?
When you get done with that, I would love to read it, man. I'll buy it back off of you at half price because since it's used, you know, it's not full price. I'd actually like to read that, John.
So this drinking bird, was it like I thought it was? Was it like a penguin with a top hat? Something like that?
I'm going to Google it a little bit more and see if I can find
I
it.
remember it was a pretty, once you got it rocking and rolling, it obviously had a counterweight because it would keep going.
Yeah.
Talks about Philippine, monsters and spooks. Oh boy. Oh, that's what I asked my wife once. I said, "Hey, you want to go up to Bohol once and go over to Sikihor?" And a lot of folks don't like that place. You know, they think it's voodoo witch doctors kind of shit like that. That, like the ones that shrink your head, you know.
Mhm. Well, there is right, and you can supposedly go there and buy spell.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. That's what you're thinking. It is. It is, Tony. It's exactly what you're thinking it was.
what?
The bird.
Okay, but what?
It's called
Bobby Bird. Yeah, maybe that's.
one is called the Happy Drinking Bird. This one is painted red, white, and blue. And
I just remember the top, kind of I don't
they
know, a top hat like the penguin and Batman.
very traditional top hat.
Hey,
Correct.
drinking birds, also known as.
Yeah. I wish I could show you a picture.
Drinking bird, water bird, dipping, sippy chickens. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, David, if you find a photo of that, man, send me one.
I will. I found a bunch of photos. I just, I try to drop one in the chat. I think I can do that.
So can these things still be bought?
Yes.
The wooden ones?
Well, I don't know about the wooden ones. There are paint. Are you talking about? Well, here the wooden ones I'm looking at are painted.
They're what?
Painted.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the kind of.
They're out here. There's plastic ones, but there's still wooden and glass ones.
They're plastic. They're not wood.
Wood and glass.
Okay.
And what are you talking about? $20 or so?
Yeah, that sounds cool, man.
They're very, very common.
It's just one of those things I remember from when I was a kid for some reason. Because back then you could, bars, you could take your kids in there. There still are a lot of bar restaurants down in Kenosha where, you drink and you eat in the same place. So,
yeah.
When I was a kid, going into a bar with your parents on the weekends, or Sunday or something was normal. But I always remembered smelling the smell of the beer.
Oh.
At the bar had a certain. That's back when my sense of smell was even better. Real good. But I always remembered that smell. It wasn't a bad smell. It was just the smell of a bar with alcohol and the drinks, And
No, I remember the smell of the vomit.
perpetual motion.
Yeah. So
So, what do you, David? You looking on a website that?
I just Googled it, man. That's all I did is Googled it.
Oh,
And
yeah, but
look
when
at
you
it.
Googled it, is there where can you buy that kind of thing
Yeah.
other than the glass?
Well, the bird. So what it is, it's wood, and then
Yeah.
the bird is act glass, part glass. The body of the bird is glass.
Okay.
It's like a test tube, and the bottom of it's bigger than the cylinder, and that's where the liquid is. And so when it gets rocking, the liquid tilts up,
Yeah.
down, and does this number.
So,
You gotta have glass on it, but the rest of it's wood. So the hat's wood, the beak is wood, the stand is wood.
well, I got a curious. Well, maybe they do this now, but does that thing fill up with alcohol so it stops bobbing, or does it continuously bob?
Well, it won't go forever. They eventually just kind of slow down and lose momentum.
Amazon, huh? Well, I'm gonna have to check that out tomorrow.
I'll see if I can. Yeah, I'll help you find it. But
Johnny on the spot, man. John is extremely knowledgeable with these things. You know what? That's like when you try to ask somebody something of maybe a neighborhood you lived in or things of that time. I know I'm a little older than John, but it's nice to talk to somebody that I'm sure everybody here now that knows what you're talking about. I always felt like nobody else would know what I was trying to explain. But it's cool that
can you see
people
it?
confirm that, so I can't see that, man. I'm on my phone, dude. You're going to have to send that to me, Messenger,
Yeah, I'll
something
send
like that.
It's only like
That was a gimmick back then. I thought it was, I don't know whether it filled that thing up or the bird filled up or it was time to get another drink at the, whatever. But it was one of those, they had a lot of Tinker Toys or something, whatever back, kind of like the modern day fish on the wall that talks.
Oh, Billy Bass.
Billy Bass, yeah.
I hated that thing.
But I had fond memories when I was a kid, and we didn't go into them that often. But boy, I thought I was big time when I was allowed to go into a bar. When I was a little guy.
Yeah.
But me and when I went to visit my cousins that I lived with, I was 14. The year after I left, I was 14, and my cousin Steve was 13, and they were serving us beers. The bar that's not there anymore, but. All of a sudden, I see my uncle, man, and I went, "This guy didn't play, He was I loved him a lot, very much, and he was just a man's man. And this dude was like, you knew when no meant no, and why he said that. You didn't question it. He wasn't an asshole. But when I saw my uncle, I went out the side door, and my cousin went out the front, and I stayed about 10 feet in front of him. And I'm watching my cousin grimacing, ready for another whack with my uncle's huge, hands, and just look. I almost felt like laughing because my cousin was like, but my uncle was talking. He said, "You come down from Milwaukee. You think you could do that?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "You guys get upstairs." That meant I got out of it, and I didn't get a whooping, so I was cool.
We say hello to the Scotty B Show. Thank you for coming by, buddy. Appreciate you.
Scotty B.
To a family reunion on my mother's side, who's been dead since I was 6. I'm not real close to that. Any family.
So let me ask you, John, if you see it on Amazon, is that the one I'm describing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it wood or?
Well, they make them in wood and plastic,
Did
So
holy shit, man! Oh my god! I'm watching TV here, and I don't have the sound, but they're talking about some movie star, and boy, she had a bikini on, looked pretty good.
hey, you're married, man.
I can look, man. That's cheap.
But we went to a family reunion on my mother's side. My mom has been dead since I was 6. I got a whole shitload of technically half brothers and sisters. So we went down to Louisiana one year, a few years ago, and did that. And one of my half brothers was telling everybody the story that when I guess I was about 6 years old, because I'm the youngest, he came to the house to babysit, while the adults went out and did whatever. And
Yeah, thoughts don't count.
apparently, I didn't want to take a bath. And so he tried to force me to. So I put my hand through the door, fisted the door, punched a hole in the door of the house at 6.
Jesus.
He said he decided at that point he would just leave me alone and let me be. So,
You really objected to taking a bath, did you? Oh my God.
at
Hey,
6 years
listen,
old,
this was probably a chance of a lifetime. When I was 14, I was down at the Children's Hospital because I wrapped my I was on a bike and I took a jump, and I thought for some reason it was like over the edge, but in fact there was land there. So I went off the bike and they put me in the hospital for a couple of days. And this candy striper was beautiful blonde, and she wanted to give me a sponge bath, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, no, I'll be okay, because I know as soon as that sponge touched me, man, that was that was it, dude. I mean, 14 years old, you got wood every morning,
That's funny. Ah,
Like,
that's funny. I mean, that is funny.
she was super beautiful.
Yeah, I think isn't that like a storyline in a lot of pornographic movies?
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, when I got older, I go, well, hell yeah. I sat back like I was, the king of kings, man. But back then I was shy, and of course I never had a beautiful grown woman give me a sponge bath before.
I have. They're not.
I said, I'll be okay. Oh my God. They showed this this guy hit one of those what are those Toyotas, the hybrid.
The Prius?
Yeah, this dude brought T-bone one, man. Oh, what a truck.
Ouch.
Yeah, that thing was messed up, dude.
God said, head wood, no skin left to close your eyes.
Wow. Yeah, but I know I'd have been like, bam, out it comes, man. No skin left, huh? Close your eyes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure she wouldn't have spent that much time there, but I had no way of knowing, I was kind of young.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's okay.
hey, they'd have put me in there when I was 20, it'd be a different deal.
Yeah, you may be in jail.
I mean, well, it wouldn't have cost me a dime, and it would have been fun.
Well, you can always go somewhere else and get a happy ending in the Philippines,
No. Well, nowadays, happy ending costs you an arm and a leg with like every half of what you owe, half of what you make.
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple stories. I was talking to a buddy. They just got back from the Philippines, and he took and I got to be general in my language here.
Mm-hmm.
But he took a couple of people over with him who are single, and he's not. But
Yeah.
he was able to take them out to the bars, and apparently the two single guys had a fantastic time, blew their budget by a couple $1,000s. The 2 weeks that they were there, enjoyed the hookers very much, enjoyed the bars very much.
There you go.
We just have to find out if they get anything that's going to compromise their immune system.
Wait.
You know,
Uh,
they had a time of their lives for 2 weeks. I told them it's what we call vacation millionaires. You know, you go over there and you take 3 bar girls home with you every night. And
yeah.
they
You
take
know,
all of your money.
you know what I don't like? I see a lot of guys, and he's stupid. I don't care for clickbait bullshit. You know, that's just it's a stupid way. But a lot of these guys I seen, and nobody here, but um, they talk about women. They talk about getting a girl over there, like
Or they put a picture of a girl with big boobs on or something.
well, the Elephant Man could get, but they speak the way some people speak is very disrespectful to even a human being. You know,
Yeah. And this may be this may be bad to say, but look, if you can't get laid in a third world country, you're never going to get laid in.
no, but
And
I
that's
I wouldn't I wouldn't try to
I got to get that off the air. You got to remember, I'm married, guys. So you got to be nice. My wife will yell at me.
but I just it's a big trade off there, especially for us older guys. You get somebody to take care of you and do right by you, and you provide the financial security. And so a lot of one guy I know had a channel. He's asking his wife constantly, man. This is like his third marriage too, and finally she said, "No, I love you for because you're good looking, this and that." I said, I said, look, man, you pressured her enough and kept asking her enough. She told you what she told you to shut you up
Yeah.
because, dude, the guy at the time he got married. I don't know if he was 50, but you're 50, man. It's more about it. There's more to it than just your looks.
There
So
is, and I don't have a problem, and I tell Lorelai this and others. I really don't have a problem with some of the girls, and I'm not just going to pick on the Philippines, but from third world countries who want to meet a man who's maybe 20 years older than them so they can get out of their situation.
uh,
And as long as, because I do think not necessarily love is on the very first date. Love continues to grow and nurture.
you
So
know,
if the male knows what he's getting into, and the female knows what she's getting into, and they both know what each other's getting into,
yeah.
then who cares if it's love at first sight or if it's kind of one of those things where, the chick is hot, I'm older, I got money, I want to give her a better life. She wants to take care of me because I have money. If it all works out for both parties, that's great. Now,
Yeah.
you have a problem when you're 60 and you go after a 20-year-old. To me, that's
No, but
didn't mean to offend you, John.
I was talking to when I was waiting in Manila to fly to Mindanao. I'm sitting there, and this young lady comes. She sits down next to me, and she had this body dress on. I don't know what they call them, but it looked, she was freaking nice.
Yeah, the body dress are good.
And she starts talking. Oh, do you have? I said, yeah, I got a wife and son here. I talk loud in my hearing. And she told me that she was like she won in Davao or something for the Philippine version of The Voice, and at first I was like, what the hell? What's that? And oh, never mind. But she was nice looking. That'd have been fun for about 6 months, and then it's like raising another kid. This is from how I look at it,
No,
and that's that's way down, way too young for me. When I wasn't really looking in the beginning, but when I started browsing this Filipino Cupid, I was looking. I thought, if I were to, because at the time I wasn't, but if I were to, I like a family type woman, And so I'm looking through all these people, and I saw my wife's thing, and I said, this is the kind of woman I need. She ain't way younger than me. She's 18 years, but when I first saw her, man, I thought to myself, holy cow, man, look what I got. But
that's funny. I mean, I understand that, and I think John and Ken and I know most of us do. The interesting thing for me, like I said, I think a 60-year-old going after a 20-year-old is really creepy, but an 80-year-old dating
yeah,
a 40-year-old is no big deal. It's about the maturity level. When I was,
yeah,
I dated a beautiful 18-year-old little country girl, and holy crap, was she smoking? But in about 3 months, she drove my ass crazy because just too young, the immaturity. So I think that plays a huge factor.
yeah, yeah.
When I
But
met my wife, it wasn't her. She's a beautiful girl, but it wasn't her beauty that hooked me. Believe it or not, it was her speech mannerisms,
mhm.
the way she spoke. So I mean, it didn't hurt that she's good looking and all that, but
Yeah.
for me, her intellect and her
Yeah,
spoke
I
was
I don't want to have to buy somebody Hello Kitty shit for Christmas.
no. Well, but the other side of that, Hello Kitty crap is a lot cheaper than diamonds and jewelry and gold.
But come on, man. I mean, what are you doing to your mind when you subject yourself to buying the shit you bought for probably, like, for me it'd be my first kid,
I know, I know, I know.
who's 42, I mean, she's gonna be a grandma in December too. But I'll be a great grandfather at 61 years old next month.
Yeah, I actually think relationships work really well. If you got about a 20-year spread or less
Hey,
age,
you
I really do think they work well that way.
you know what? A lot of people fail to realize that it's a two-way street. You get this and she gets that. And
Correct.
to think it's all about you, you're nuts.
What?
The first person for me anyway, the first love of your life, after that, it's different. It's just what do you think? I mean, a lot of guys, what do they think? They're gonna, this chick is likes this guy with the two-fisted slopper body. That, I mean, there's something in there for everybody. But the guy I'm talking about, he always thought it was because she loved him because of the way he looked, partly.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of, well, and part of it is, look, as we all know, what is the word, guapo? You know,
Dude,
so,
guapo and guapo, yeah.
yeah, and that's tossed around in the Philippines a lot. But as I've told people, friends in the Philippines hanging out, when we talk about that is, well, you may think somebody's handsome because they got a nice bank account. So,
See that for a guy to think like that, he's the same age as me now, but for a guy to think like that, for not being able to see it for what it is, then he's living in a fantasy world.
well, but you're
How-
right. Look, in fairness to men or women, it is really nice to think that that cute girl actually likes me because of the way I look.
uh,
I mean, it is a nice thing to think that.
that's right.
A lot of us
Ken.
don't burst that bubble.
That's right, Ken. And that's an unspoken thing too.
Yeah,
Like I said before, you're getting one that's gonna devote herself to you and only you. And you got the financial means to better her life and yours because you're feeling better about everything. So to not think that's part of it is stupid. What if we were 20-year-olds or 15-year-olds? Well, yeah, we think it's all about what we got, how we look, that kind of thing. But who doesn't look? And my doctor was getting kind of smart with me a couple of times. He always said mail order bride thing, and I had this woman at work say that shit to me, and I used to think highly of her till she said that. But I thought to myself, my doctor said that one too many times, and I said, hey, if I meet one at a bar here or anybody here, if I meet one at a bar, somehow that's like more acceptable and different than a computer. I mean, if I wanted to have somebody take me from my money, I could do it right here.
Well,
So
exactly, and like Ken is saying, we all kind of know the score,
yeah,
and
that's right.
and it's okay. But I do think it's funny that some of these men are delusional, that they really believe that, the 25-year-old Asian hottie, thinks that they're
You know, dude, I used to talk to this guy that he moved back to America, and his friend he had that used to write to in a newsletter, like a monthly deal. Little, he was one of the contributors, and they were him and his wife. This gentleman I'm talking about was 70s, early 70s. His wife, I don't know if she was 50s, but um, they were sitting having lunch or something, and it was this guy was sitting. This guy was about 40, 42, and the girl was 20 or whatever, and he's talking about her like she's like nothing, he tells her what to say and when not. He tells her how to think and how to you know that he just treated her like shit.
like garbage.
And this guy told him, he said he was about ready. He had his fist balled up, and he goes, he was about ready to punch this guy in the face for being so disrespectful
Just like
of his girl, and a woman, period, and a Filipina. And this guy thought that he could act and talk any way he wanted to, because he knows this girl just sat there and didn't say nothing because it meant that much to her and her family,
Yeah.
And this dude was way out of line.
Yeah. Well, when in my little world, we had a lot of people think that Lorelai only, which is offensive to me and you. But when people think, "Oh, your wife only married you because you have money," well, I don't, I think that's offensive. Not to the woman, but to the guy, because look, I do have other traits besides money. We are decent human beings, and after my coma, when I was in the coma and I was dying, Lord, if all Lorelai wanted was money, and this is something people had in my world had to understand or learn, was all she didn't have to do anything. I was dead, but she demanded and worked hard to keep me alive those 10 days, and fought with the doctors continuously, and spent every dollar she could there.
Hey,
So
a lot of guys, just ask guys this question. I mean, would any of us truly be able to get the women we got from there here? Would I be able to get the same kind of woman here, same age difference, same devotion, same everything? Hell no. They wouldn't even give me the time of day here.
well, and the bad thing is you wouldn't want them because they would be an American woman.
No.
Woo-wee.
Well, I had a friend where I used to work that said he'd always bash American women, and the ironic thing was he's never been married to an American woman. He was married to a Colombian or something like that.
Yeah.
But
and everybody
when I
tell me, well, Lorelai's going to trade up. She's as soon as she begins the Philippines.
Well, David's sucking up now, isn't he? What happened to the audio?
I don't know. You there?
Oh, you froze a little bit.
But if all Lorelai wanted to do was trade up, all she had to do is just let me die, and that would
pull the plug. Huh?
And security is a draw for the women for sure in any country to stop fooling themselves. That's right, women. And you guys have seen my video about that. But there's good apples and bad apples from every country, and I think I think the Philippine women in general like to have a family nucleus, so they're kind of into that versus places.
This is what I'll say. suckers get taken.
Yeah,
If you got to have, you got to have some idea of what you got and why you got it.
sure.
And if a guy like me said went after that model type, you should be within your league, really. You get one of those hot ones, and she gets over here, she's gone. I mean,
I agree with you.
who wants to constantly worry about that shit?
I agree. I agree with you. I think what you're talking about is playing in your own league or field, and
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. But
hey,
I agree.
I could pay good money to have the good looking one for one night, if I wanted to have that bad. But
Have it.
I don't want to have nothing. As soon as I leave that door, I got to worry, you know. But I got to say, I got lucky too. When my wife, the first time I went there, she met me down in, I had her come down to Makati, Manila area. And I got to go to the same place we went to 10 years ago. And when I saw her, I didn't, at the airport there at the time, when I got up, went through customs and all that, they'd only exchange X amount of dollars there. I was freaking tired.
Yeah.
I get there, some guy goes, I didn't know that the waiting area was across the road from the door I just walked out of. This guy, I had $3 American. Like at that time, it was 120 peso, and he's bitching. I said, look, I've been up for 27 hours. I'm freaking tired. I wasn't expecting this. I only got so much at the exchange thing. And the guy goes, $3, is that all? I go, stop with that shit,
Yeah.
So when I first saw my wife in person, I went, holy cow, man. Ooh.
Oh yeah, mine was smoking hotter than I thought too.
I thought to myself, my God, I'm
I had a similar experience, but of course at Mac 10 in Cebu, it was one thing Lorelai didn't understand in the beginning was, and we've talked about it since, but coming off that long flight, and you hit the ground, and literally in my case, we hit the tarmac harder than I've ever hit a tarmac in my life. Knocked the shit out of me. So, but anyway, I get out and I get through there and I go out to there, and she's trying to be cool and funny and make a big deal out of it. And she hires some guy to come in and try to call out my name, like at a fancy place where, hey,
yeah.
looking for David, but he couldn't pronounce my name, so I didn't understand what the hell this guy was talking about. So,
Yeah.
The language, and so I'm just like,
I wasn't ready for it. I had no way of knowing that people do these kinds of things. That that you do that, you give them a little bit of a peso.
well, and that's
I had no idea, and I'm freaking tired. I took you talk about taking a long way home. I had first had my computer. I'm looking on Cheapo Air, and I'm going, man, I'll take this first one right here. And there were other ones that had shorter trips, and the first one I took was on the way back wasn't bad, but on the way there, I went from Chicago to San Francisco to Hawaii to Guam and then Manila. So man, oh man, that's when I was a smoker, and I'm looking at that door going, damn, I wish I could walk outside, and I got on the way back, I went to Hong Kong straight to Chicago. So I learned from that,
Yeah, well, when we landed, so I didn't know this guy was trying to find me because I didn't know. Was it, you walk outside the airport, as a kid knows, and everybody else knows.
Yeah.
Like the first breath it takes your breath away. And then luckily, so apparently the sign didn't work, and I'm standing there looking like an idiot going, well, shit, where in the hell is she?
Yeah.
Out from a taxi and comes running over, and it's all good then. I'm like, okay,
Is this mine?
well, yeah, she's smoking hot, everything's good, but I'm so tired. I get in the taxi and we're talking, and like kid, Lorelai and I talked every day, video chatted every day for every day.
I did
And,
that for 2 years.
I told her, I said, I just got to take
Look,
a shower, man. I got to just rest a little bit. It is
Hey,
exhausting.
let me tell you this, man. When I used to talk to her, she was at the time she was living in the province there, and
Yeah.
I called and the load on her phone. I didn't understand what the load meant. They put time on the phone.
I had no clue.
So I was like, oh man, I only got so much time here, and she ran or pedaled her ass off and she went to a couple different size stores to get load put on so she could talk to me.
Yeah.
She was running around like a
Yeah.
like mad, just for me. And that's right, Ken. When I talked to her every day for 2 years, and like you, when I saw that, I went, man, oh man.
Well, and once you've been there and lived there or stayed there for
Oh,
any length of time, you actually understand how much work they have to go through to get loads. Or back then, now it's easier, but back then, to get loads and to get around and to make sure that they keep that connection with you. Lorelai had to do the same thing, but Ken, I was also kind of shocked how little Lorelai was.
This is all you need here. You got to have
But,
a God-given sense, good sense, you know, some kind of smarts.
yeah,
You gotta have that. If you got that, then you can work. You can deal with it. But if you're a sucker and you blind faith all the time, and you've never really thought for yourself, other people thinking for you, you're in trouble. But if you have the good God-given sense, you'll be fine.
Ken, the interesting thing was, I've been around the Philippine community and the Asian community since I was 16. And I've had a lot of people try to set me up with sisters and cousins and everybody else in the world. And they were all beautiful and I blew them all off. So, yes, when I made the decision to go to the Philippines to propose to Lorelai, that day I knew my life had changed forever. So I get it, man.
I had already been married 2 times, and that second time I got divorced, I was 16 years, and I got divorced in 2005. But we always got along, and people couldn't believe we were divorced, But
I'm glad
but
you're here.
I was not looking for another relationship. Period. I really wasn't, and I ran into a childhood friend that he was conversing with somebody, and I just, well, let me look at that. I like to look at pictures, so I'm looking. I really wasn't going to do anything because
You don't buy what's free, my friend.
I worked, man. I mean, I had no way was I looking for I had my own house. I had a brand new truck. I had a El Camino, an older one. I had everything. And I probably would have been dead by now if I wouldn't have changed my ways, because I would have stroked out or something.
Yeah, I think we've been together 8.5 years. I don't know. You'd have to ask Lorelai.
Mine's January of 2014.
June of something for us is when we first met.
14.
So Ken says he'll let you have it for 3 pesos. That's a smoking deal, Ken.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right, guys. It changes your life for the better, I think. I mean, we talked about different things over the years.
Well,
It's right. Everybody good? I mean, I know can't wait until that day that they're together forever.
I have this sense of urgency because my dad's parents died at my grandfather's 63, my grandma was 61, which I am now, and I'm older than they are. My wife and my obviously my son, but I'm in a hurry to get these things, to get that house done. We set up a little poultry business or something. So I wanna have those things done and going before I go anywhere. So
Yeah, I always thought I was going to die at the age 42 because that's when my mother died. So once I made it past that,
Well,
my health went downhill,
my
but I survived. So,
my grandmother's sister, we call her Auntie Bunny. She was her husband. I think his name was Buzz. He died at 42, and then another one died at young too. But all her sons, one died at I think he was 28 or something. 2 weeks before the wedding, he got in a car accident on the freeway. But there was never a male that lived beyond 42.
yeah.
So one of the brothers was 43. There were two of them left. One of them was 43, and he was roughhousing with his kids in the living room, and he died. So it was something freakish too, because they kept up on their health. And as far as I know, the last one was still living, and he's the only one.
Everybody say hi to Lorelei. She just popped in.
Hello, Lorelei. David was informing us about all those strip joint titty bars over there in
Rogers.
Yeah, he had a frequent flyer, a frequent what do you call it card there? They punched
Discount card.
yeah, discount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You said some of the strippers got change machines, so you give them a 20 peso bill and they can give you,
So
you know,
you're
10 back.
getting me in in the Philippines? I thought you meant in America. Yeah.
No, they're over there, man. Yeah, that's what you're telling me. We talk.
Hey, okay, Dave, you can leave now. We will talk to you.
Okay, you're lovely.
Dave, you can talk to your lovely.
Well, good. Like Lorelei will straighten you guys out on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, especially about women
I'm
in
only
Filipinos.
kidding, kind of.
Let's look at the message.
I am. So Ken said,
He's been super.
man,
He's been looking at that clock for a while now, so he knows exactly when he has to talk accordingly.
they want to kick me out of here.
Put
on the cigars.
All right, I'm gonna eat now. All right, guys. Hey, Anthony, be careful to my husband.
Oh, I didn't. He's trying to poison my mind. What are you talking about?
I'm listening, guys.
He's gonna write a book. He said.
That's Ken, but I'll help Ken write one. Hey, Scott. So you said that you dated a Filipina here in America. Are you still dating one? Or do you want to date one from the Philippines?
Dude, Scott.
What's your
Scotty, just if you got common sense, you'll be fine. Nobody can tell you. You'll know what to do. You know what I mean? If you've been around a while, you know what don't work, and you know what will work. And because a woman over there will do anything or take care of you in a lot of ways, doesn't mean you get to treat them like shit.
No. I don't think most people.
I ain't saying. I'm just saying. Just so you know.
Yeah, no matter where they're from, America or Spain or wherever, you get what you give. If you're going to treat somebody like shit, then your life is going to be shit.
Yeah, stinking fish.
You can't do that. But so let's say, even though she was in the States, I learned a little bit about the Philippines, especially the stinky fish. Yeah,
that dried fish. Yeah, man.
Open the windows and run like hell.
If you have a woman that likes dried fish, then she'll be single for quite a long time.
Or make sure she has an outdoor kitchen. Next year, we're building Lorelei an outdoor kitchen, so a dirty kitchen.
Oh yeah, there you go.
No, seriously. And right now, I'm building her a second gigantic closet. But next year is the stinky
A gigantic what?
closet.
Oh, I thought you said coffin.
Well, maybe slip of the tongue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, good. I think if you ask me, I would recommend dating another one. I would recommend going slow and easy because it's really easy, and everybody will contest to this.
Before you speed it up.
Boy,
You don't want to speed it up till almost the end.
yeah. So now we all know women. If Scotty, if you know, if you reach out to anybody, if you don't know anybody, there's plenty on YouTube. But we all know women that are single over there. I'm sure some.
I got a sister-in-law that's about what 5 foot tall. She's got a little bit of meat to her. She's cute.
See?
Is she and her son? Her son is I think he's 3 now. He's a super freaking nice kid. He learns about, he watches Blue's Clues and all this stuff, and he knows how to carry on a conversation in English like nobody's business, and he's super well behaved. He just his papa's not around, and she works a lot, so he's screaming whenever she leaves. But
you bring
if you're gonna have a woman with a kid, he'd be the kid to have.
But you bring up a good point. Now, and this is an important thing. I do think a lot of guys go, oh, well, since they're from the Philippines or Thailand or whatever, I want to marry somebody that doesn't have kids. Now, I actually, I don't know how old you are, Scotty, but look, it's not a bad thing. And there's some financial reasons for it. One, if you adopt, Social Security benefits, retirement benefits, there's some good things about it. But there's a lot of women who have children that are really good people. The key, a lot of women that have children have settled down. So they're kind of like us old guys. We've kind of sold our oats, and they want to be a mom. They want to be a wife. So I would encourage you to date somebody who has children. Maybe not 20 children, but 1 or 2. I'm telling you.
You know what? You're going to find now always put the disclaimer in there. It's not 100% guaranteed, it's over 95% though. But a lot of these children are very respectful,
They are. The Philippine children are fine. They need stability, but I think as a life partner, that's a good way to really look at it. And Scotty, his problem was he knew nothing about the culture when he was dating her.
My God.
Well, but Scotty, now you
Hey,
don't have to know a lot about the culture. You just have to be willing to learn about the culture and let her.
Sometimes the best way to learn is to just shut up and listen.
Well, that's what I mean. You just let the wife be who she is. That's what I do with Lorelai. I don't want her to get rid of her culture. Just the other day we had stinky fish, or she had stinky fish.
Dude, I would, that's for somebody. If you've been married to him for 40 years, you don't want to kiss him. Just eat that shit.
That's right.
Good. And they look and they attack it like it's some freaking, like some Black Angus porterhouse, man. And don't stick your hands. Don't hold the cover on the rice cooker because they'll kick your ass for it.
But in all seriousness, Scotty, I would highly recommend you hook up with somebody's in the 30s maybe that has a kid.
Well, yeah.
I'm a big opponent of that.
I like the smart ones too that are smart enough to know that women. Job-wise, opportunities for women over there is very scarce, and when they reach a certain age at a certain job, they have to quit if they're not in management.
That's
and
a
lot of people, a lot of women will look and say, "Well, I didn't have it made. Why would I want to bring a kid in this world and did not have it made either?" So.
And part of it is, I believe this. We got to be really careful not to let them become just American women. So we got to keep being their culture and embrace the culture. And having a kid from the Philippines who was born in the Philippines helps them tie to their culture. Because I know women here, and remember, I've been around the community since I was 16. I know women who become very Americanized, and other Asian countries, because I know a lot of them. And it's not a good thing, but all the ones who've had children, mixed children even, They seem to be more connected to their roots, which I believe is a good thing, makes a better wife. That's just my 2 cents. I'd encourage you, right? Mr. Yank? Mr. Yank agrees with me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
To send you her contact information, Facebook information.
Who?
You will. You'll be happy to share your sister-in-law's.
Oh yeah. I think she's. What is she? She's 30. She's 32 or 33. She worked hard, man. You know,
She's a
she's
hard
not
worker.
married, but her baby's daddy is. Uh, I think he's just started to contribute, or he was, or whatever. But the kid is fantastic. His name is RJ. They call him RJ because they didn't know whether they wanted to name a junior or whatever. But the kid's a sweet kid, man. And if you sit there and you talk to him, he'll be analyzing something that he's never heard of before, you know. And I got to tell you this funny story with him. He had this ice candy they have. It's nothing but what sugar and freaking milk, you know, sweetened milk. And I had one open one time, and I said, "Here, you want this?" And I would give it to him. He'd take his bite or lick off it, and he'd push it back to me because he wanted to share with me. You know?
That's nice.
Yeah. I'm like, man.
But look, Scotty, in all fairness, it's not just about, you're not going to marry the kid. You got to like the woman. But here's one thing I tell other men or other people that want to get involved in this is don't let the fear of having to go to the Philippines stop you. Don't let that, oh my God, the tickets are expensive. The drama of getting there. Don't let that stop you. Those are just little.
And if they bring money up right away, forget it. But later on, you'll find out that a lot of them like to help their family out too. So don't be shocked if down the road the wife or the fiance will say, "Hey, could you help my family do this or that?" I don't mind helping somebody out, but I'm not supporting them. You know what I mean? If somebody needs a hand getting started, that's one thing. But I've had 5 kids. I have my 5th one with my wife now, and nobody made my living, took care of my kids, but me. You know, and their mothers. So I don't. Using the word support is a wrong word to use because our idea of what support means and them is different.
Right. Now, Scotty, just for reference, I mean, I've been there a bunch of times. The Yank's been there. Ken's been there 9 times. So it's not that big of a deal. One thing that I liked about Lorelai right away when I first started talking to her was she was a hard worker. She had a job. She lived on her own. She was paying her bills. So she was trying to make her way in the Philippines in spite of everything else. So I think if you find a young lady that works and knows that they need to work, that's a really good start. The one who's living at home and just kind of hanging out in the family compound, maybe not so much.
Hey, my guy, that childhood friend I told you about, he took a trip over. This guy's been a bum all his life. Even when we were kids, he was a bum. Probably had to give back his college degree because I doubt he ever paid for it. But he goes over there. He gets some sucker in this church thing he belonged to pay for a ticket. So he goes over there, and her dad is sitting there all drunk and drinking, and I want you to marry my daughter, John, and but he asked him for money to pay the electric bill, and I couldn't. My wife was standing by me, and I couldn't tell him. Some of them, that's what some of them will want from you. So he says to her, he says, "Let me get this straight. You can't pay your electric bill, but you can drink a beer. And you can get drunk."
Well, they don't need electricity; they need alcohol.
Well, John,
that's a really good point. That sometimes, the family does expect the foreigner to cough up some money, like a dowry in a sense. We had a little bit of that issue And I basically just, did that.
See,
And
my
made people mad, but we didn't care.
my wife's younger sister, what I'm talking about, she must have made promises to them. I helped her mother out with a couple thousand, but she says to her, he has done nothing for us. Well, let me tell you, I don't have to do shit for nobody in the first place. So I don't owe him nothing, and I said to them, I have to get my family set up first before I even start doing something like that. Again, I helped her mom out before, but I have to get a house going. I have to get that done. I have to get a little poultry thing going on, and then maybe, and who knows how long that'll take. But then and only then. But nobody's gonna interfere with my taking care of my family first.
Well, and I'll say this, and guys, this is going to sound tacky, but this is the way it is with families in third world countries with an expat and a bride or whatever. A lot of times, it's almost like the stray dog syndrome. So if you start feeding that stray dog, they're going to keep coming and coming and coming and expecting more and more and more. So early on, you have to decide yourself your personal values. And depending on your budget, look, if you got lots of money and you don't really care that you lose $1,000 a month, well, okay, great. But if you live on a budget like most of us, and it gets out of hand and it will never stop.
Yeah,
getting very limited.
I've never lived beyond my means, and I had a sister went way over that, and that's the part that ticks me off, is that somebody keeps spending. It's like the government; they keep spending more than they're taking in,
Right.
and they want you to help them. Actually, they want you to help them for life doing that, but that ain't happening. Like I said, I got my goals, and I work till I get them. That's why I worked. One time I hit my head and I had a concussion. I've never been all 100% since, but I never missed a day of work, and I kept going. And there ain't nobody that I know listening or over there that would have done what I done, because that was a mother of a time, because I have a back problem, and I had my head pulsing, like my brain pulsing like a heart every freaking day. And then I had my wife in my ear about buying this or buying that. And I got to tell you, man, the difference between my 20-year-old self and at the time my 55-year-old self would have been, if I'd have been young, I'd have been backhanding somebody, because I can't get pushed like that. You got to set goals, what you want to do. If you have any aspirations of setting somebody up before you're gone, if your wife happens to be a lot younger than you, you got to have goals. And if you do,
part of the problem is or maybe I'll speak for myself, but for me, giving somebody $20 isn't a big deal. But $20 in the Philippines is quite a bit more, worth a whole lot more than it is here. So you got to be careful, because they go, oh, it's just $20, it's just $100, it's just this, it's just that. Oh, I just gave them $5, whatever it is. But to them, it's feeding this, again, created and monster. They want to be fed all the time. And so you got to just be really careful. So we, over the years, have done a whole lot for her family, her sister's family. And I mean a lot. But now we're to that point where all we do is birthdays and New Year's. And that's it. That's it. So that's kind of what you have to do with the family. And it may tug on your heart, because that they're living in poverty, especially compared to American standards. But what I've explained to some people and I've learned is, yes, from our Western perspective, they live in poverty. I mean, it's rough. For me to live there is extremely rough. So it's very, very rough living from our perspective. But they're used to it. It's what they grew up in. It's what they experience every day. They're not experiencing the hardship that we perceive that they are, just not that way. Our perception is different than what reality is. So that's you know, a little bit on that. I think anybody disagree with our perception, you know, one thing I learned many thousands of years ago when I was a young man and had a very good mentor. We were doing some work, and I can't remember because it's been so long ago and my brain damage. But he told me that people only know they're poor if you tell them they're poor. People only know they're stupid, which is a bad word, if you tell them they're stupid. So they only know that they're not educated if you tell them they're not educated. So you let poor people be poor and be happy. They'll manage.
Hey,
They're better at managing than we are.
you know, the wise man said to me once, he said, there's no such thing as a stupid question, just stupid people that ask questions.
But you know, people don't know something. It's, you know, and it's not our burden to bring.
That's right, James.
You know,
You want it. That's where the common sense part comes in. You know, if you get duped, yeah, you're going to be, you know, hey, what the hell, you know, but like I said, you got your goals. You want to get this going. If you have any like that, you know, are you going to be a renter for life? That's cool too. That's cheap enough, you know, all that good stuff. But
and Ken, let me tell you, here's where I absolutely 1000% agree with you. I am happy. We offered to pay for somebody to go to college, pay the whole bill. Now, got rejected because the mother wanted the child to think that she was doing it. But look, when it comes to education, I've offered to pay for everybody's education because I believe it's like feeding the fish or learning to fish. You can feed yourself. So I'm happy to invest in their education so that they can get jobs and support and take care of themselves. And hopefully in the long run, it costs me less money to send them to college than it does for me to support them for the rest of their life.
I got this favorite brother-in-law. This dude came, he lives in Cavite, and he came up when I was doing my quarantine thing in Manila. And for some reason, man, he's like number one that I would help for some reason. I'm just fond of him. I don't know why, but the thing with him is I gotta, you know, his mother said, well, if you give the money to him to pay the tuition, he'll spend it on something else. But so I know they're sincere, and this is what he's going for, you know. And if he's doing that, then he can come stay with me till he's done with school. He's got a wife, a partner, they call him now. I guess everybody does, and they got a daughter. So after you graduate, you get to pick what part of the country you want to go be a P&P officer in, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So as soon as you graduate, you're moving somewhere.
We've offered to pay for nursing school so that they can come here as
That's gold, man. You know,
you name it.
my God, college was totally out of the question for me. It didn't even, you know, for one thing, when you got out of high school, you know, you can get a $10 job sweeping the floor in a factory or General Electric or something, you know, but that all changed real fast. But we didn't, you know, college was like, you kidding me? Again,
No, I put my own self through college. I paid for every dime my own self.
Cool.
And all my living expenses. It got to the point where I taught. So I believe in higher ed, and I think investing in people's education is great. And, and I don't mind if they need a little food money, but what bugs me, and we have this discussion, is when they're not managing their finances correctly, because they think or they hope they can call the white guy or the American or the Australian husband and say, can you give us money? Forget the fact that we drank it all up in alcohol or gambled it away.
Well,
now we don't have money for food. That's what bugs me. And that's
you got a store. You got a sorry store, and you spend your profits without restocking.
And I don't care if it's my idiotic American family that used to try to pull that shit, or people in the Philippines. That doesn't fly with me.
Nah.
Like you said earlier, you're not going to get drunk and say, "Oh, I need you to pay my electric bill." Well, no, ain't gonna happen, buddy. You know, quit drinking.
My kid goes to, what does he go to? He goes to private school, and that's 4,464 peso a month.
So,
40 some dollars, 50 bucks.
but one thing I tell people is,
No, it's more than that. Shit.
you know, the money situation when you marry somebody from another country, no matter what country it is,
80.
it's an issue. But don't let it be a big roadblock. Okay, don't let it stop you. Just learn to manage it.
You go see at the time I was buying this land, I bought this land, and it's like I wasn't ready to do anything else at the time. So having this, to me, my mother-in-law gave me she wanted to buy a spot in the market. Now a lot of these people just pay somebody that owns that. So legally they have no right to that. That person could come back the next month and take it back, and you can't say nothing. And I said to her, I was thinking business wise, and I said, at that price, it would take me 5 years to gain my investment back.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I ain't doing that.
Well, everybody I've ever known who's tried to run a sorry store, it just didn't work out.
Dude, there's very next to nothing profit in that, man. You need a water filtration. That's a big deal over there, because where we were getting the water from, I got a tester now.
Yeah.
But for those of you that don't have one, you're there, get one, because that shit was making me. It wasn't agreeing with me.
Yeah, you don't want to drink the water.
No, man. You drink that. Oh, you can't drink tap water there. But if you're worried about that, because that big jug, I don't know what's in there, 5 gallons. It's 40. Was it 20 some peso, or I can't remember.
Cebu is 40, and then when the time
40,
it's 400.
Yeah. So buy the bottle at the store.
Yeah, that's what we did. But yeah, it was 40 pesos, and then when the typhoon hit, and even the well water now was 400 pesos. Before the well water was free. So
I don't believe in that price gouging shit during a catastrophe like that, calamity, man. That is.
But that happened in the U.S. too. Every country. So
but I just why all of a sudden when somebody's in a dire need and they all of a sudden you're squeezing them, and they're already squeezed enough as it is.
It's just plain greed. Is all it is. It's all about the money.
If I sold a 5-gallon jug for 40 peso, that's what I'm going to charge, whether there's a typhoon or not.
Right. Yeah, it went from 40 to 400.
Matter of fact, you can get the basic filtration system. I think is for mineral water. I think that's the basic one. There are other ones that do it. There's more involved process, but that includes the tanks and the sales rep. They'll set it up.
For about $1,000, if I remember right, is what.
Yeah, $1,000, 1,500. I mean, you could. It's like they'll come and give you your education on it and set it up for you, and what tank does what you need. What kind of chemicals you need, and where to buy them. So.
Yeah, everything was out when we got hit. We were hit dead center, so everything was it was a total cluster. So everything went bonkers for a while. So, but yeah, I had somebody wanting me to invest in one of those, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to invest anything.
If you're over there, you get your own, man. I mean, for $1,000 for us, it may mean not so much, but over there for them it is. So, you have to have the facility that big enough to. A lot of people build stuff on the front of their house. I wouldn't do it that way because if somebody's to break in something,
Yeah.
I don't want them to break in and then think of, in my house and harm myself or my family. If it's a separate thing, then that's what gets damaged, what can be replaced.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
You can't.
Well, all right, guys. I think it's time for me to sign off for this week. Now, we will be back next week at 5:30 once again live here on this channel. And Mr. Yank does his live stream Friday nights at 5, right?
5:05, yep. 5:05 Central Time.
So everybody is welcome to come visit his live stream Friday. And come back to mine on Tuesday. And then watch out for new releases. I got some good videos coming out. I hope they're good anyway.
Yeah, that one today was riveting.
Was it? You like that?
Yeah.
I got a new tent for the dogs, right?
Yeah, you were dropping shit all over the floor, man. I'm like,
Yeah, but that's reality in my world. I just
know
video.
that, but what I'm saying is, man, I would be so freaking flustered when I got these the things I need rolling off the table.
Oh, well, you wait until you see this next one. I almost break what I bought.
Oh man.
But I just video my thing and let life
But
happen.
you're blessed with more patience than I have, Ben. I'm okay, but you're way better than I am with that. But I could just envision myself trying to do the same thing you're doing and not dropping F-bombs, man. Whatever.
Well, I try really hard not to do that, but there are times where I kind of mumble in my breath. I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah, but well, anyway, they're cool. I like them. I love the house you got and all the toys and.
And why doesn't this Chinese crap go together right? And am I looking like an idiot on the camera because I just broke this? So, but it's all right. So, all right, guys, everybody take care. Remember, see you Tuesday nights and Friday nights.
All right, Dick. See you, everybody.
I'll send you a link on your little birdie thing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy.
Nice chatting, everyone. See you.